Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. Not gonna explain why I've been away. Just know that I'm back with videos and it's going to be mostly new content for my channel. If you didn't see, I deleted most of my videos and I only kept the ones that were film and TV related up. That's gonna be the channel now. I have a very strong interest, like super strong interest in film and TV in general. So I think that I need to do more videos that pertain to my interests. So it's gonna be like a mix of commentary, but it's more just gonna be commentary, less on like different issues and more on like TV and things like that. So without further ado, for this video, if you didn't read my title, we're basically gonna be talking about Spider-Man and the discourse surrounding Spider-Man and the Spider-Man movies. So if you didn't know, a couple of days ago, it seems that somebody leaked the new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. So then right after that, like a day after that, Marvel, Sony, they released the official trailer for Spider-Man. And it got a lot of people talking because it mentioned the multiverse. And people already have rumors about the other Spider-Mans, not Tom Holland Spider-Man, but the other Spider-Mans, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield making appearances in the movie. And a lot of people think that this is confirmed due to the fact that in the trailer, if you haven't seen it, I recommend you go see it. It's going to be a great movie. You see a couple of villains from Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies. He was the director for the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. You see Doc Ock, and you don't see Green Goblin, but you see one of his little bombs, and William Dafoe played the Green Goblin in the Sam Raimi movies. So people are like, those two are confirmed, which means that Tobey Maguire must be confirmed for this Spider-Man movie. And then for some people that forgot about the fact that Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man, I would never forget. I loved him. They said they saw Lizard in the trailer. I didn't see it. I think it was like 1 second, and then Jamie Foxx already confirmed that he was going to be in this. He was Electro. He was one of the villains in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. I don't read comic books. The only way I stay up to date on comic book things is Brandon Davis BD is his name. That's the only way I can stay up to comic book iterations of movies and everything. So he discussed on his Twitch, I believe, that it could be it's this group of villains called the Sinister Six, I guess, that's against Spider-Man. And I guess it's made up of Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Mysterio, Lizard, Electro, and I think maybe they said the Sandman, which I think was also one of the villains seen, I think, in the trailer. So basically, it was a really good way to combine all of those different movies from those different iterations of Spider-Man's into one whole movie. I personally think that No Way Home is going to be spectacular. I think because it's a very unique concept, in my opinion. I don't remember any superhero movies about the superhero getting outed. I remember the Spider-Verse, I forgot the whole movie name. Miles Morales, the Into the Spider-Verse or something like that. That was a really good movie, and it was like Peter Parker got outed or something like that. I don't know what happened, but I think this is a really cool take on it. I wanted to talk about some of the discourse surrounding the Spider-Mans. I really do gotta stay off of Twitter because it's a problem. It's a problem. That's where all of it comes from. There's a lot of people that talk about Tobey Maguire being the best Spider-Man. There's a reason for that. Not a lot of people say that Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man. There's a reason for that. I'm not saying it's a good one. And then Tom Holland, a lot of people are saying he's one of the best Spider-Mans. But the general consensus is that Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man. I will not agree with that. And let me tell you why. I do not want to be in the habit of ranking superheroes, different iterations of superheroes, because the way that I see it, they were all a set of solid movies. Like Sony, Sam Raimi put his foot in that, making the first iteration of Spider-Man, and it's a masterpiece. Tobey Maguire killed it. I always thought he looked kind of too old at times to play Spider-Man, because he's supposed to be like, what, 16-year-old boy? But that's fine, you know, America does that. We have this thing of making teenage characters older because for some reason Hollywood writes really like complex and like nuanced teenage characters that real teenagers don't always have the ability to play.
Okay, now that I'm editing that, I'm realizing that I gave Hollywood writers and just Hollywood, the industry in general, too much credit. They do that because they want older people to like, they think they look better, and they just have more like star quality and like sex appeal, which is the only reason why they do that. So I don't know why I gave them that much credit.
Which I can understand. I can understand that. But yeah, I will say that Tobey Maguire as like the first Spider-Man, everybody knows that. For a lot of older people today who watch these like new Marvel movies and everything, if you ask them, they'll most likely say that Tobey Maguire is the Spider-Man, the best Spider-Man. And I can't agree with that because I don't think there's a best Spider-Man. I will say though that I love the movies, even Spider-Man 3, which people don't like for some reason. It's like, how could, like, I don't know. I love that. I guess because it was like the way Venom was portrayed. But then we got a Venom movie, so does it really matter? Like, does it actually matter anymore? A lot of people are just very nostalgic for that version of Spider-Man, which I completely understand. It's good, but I won't say that he's the best Spider-Man. I won't say that anyone's the best Spider-Man. Spider-Man is Spider-Man. If you're one of those people that are like, oh, Tobey Maguire is the best, you're most likely nostalgic. I will say that the movies always did have a very comic book feel to it. Some moments were like, I don't know. But I think it did have a pretty like comic book type feel to it. And I do like that in that one, MJ and Gwen Stacy were in it, but from what I've seen in the comics, Gwen Stacy is supposed to die. Which brings me to my next iteration of Spider-Man and why I just think it is a masterpiece, even though some people just don't like it. The Amazing Spider-Man. It's on my Twitter. I talk about it all the time. If I want to watch a Spider-Man movie, I'm most likely going to go for the Andrew Garfield version. It's not because of my attraction to Andrew Garfield, even though that is one of the reasons why. I love Andrew Garfield as an actor. I've loved him for a really long time. I love all of his movies pretty much. Like, oh my god. Him in The Social Network, oh my god. Silence, Hacksaw Ridge, like, wow. Anyways, I would say if I was to rank the different Spider-Mans in the different types of categories, I would say that for me personally, I think the aesthetics in the Amazing Spider-Man movies are superior. Everyone knows that Marvel is mainly made up of CGI. Marvel, if you ever see this, I'm not bashing you for using CGI. I get it. You make these spectacular scenes and all of it cannot be practical. I am not ruining my chances to get in a movie with y'all one day. I'm not doing that. Anyways, and the Sam Raimi ones, it was CGI, yes, but it was like, I don't know, some of it's a little wonky, you know, because it was early 2000s. But the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, The Amazing Spider-Man, just like itches the right part of my brain. Like the aesthetics. The first one is like, it's okay. It's okay, you know, it was more of an introduction type thing. I think the Lizard was a pretty good villain, but the second one, oh my god, like Jamie Foxx, I think he killed the role as Electro. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a really good set of villains, you know? And I feel like the chemistry between Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield was top-notch, superior. In terms of like love interest, they're top. So they're top in aesthetics and they're top in like love interest if I was to rank it. But that's my personal opinion. I just think the movie looked really, really amazing, especially the second one. And then, of course, The Amazing Spider-Man did what no other movies did. They didn't give us an MJ. They gave us a Gwen Stacy, and then they killed Gwen Stacy, which is supposed to happen. It happened in the comics, so these are comic book movies technically. So if you want to adhere to the comic books, Gwen Stacy had to die, and I think it was done beautifully. I still cry when I watch it because of the relationship that Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone had in the movies, and just because of the way it looked, it was perfect. Like, oh my god. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna insert the scene. Like, oh my god. When she's dangling from that clock tower from his web and she falls and that pretty old music plays, and it's like he's diving for her and his web is shooting out like hands trying to catch her, and he catches her at the last second, but her body just plops onto the ground. I still don't know what killed her. Maybe it was like a couple people said it was like the G-force or something that stopped her, very scientific terms. Other people was like she hit her head on the concrete and died. Boom. All I'm gonna say is that it's a lovely, lovely, lovely scene, and I do have they have a sweet spot in my heart, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, especially the second one. Now, I guess they were supposed to make a third one, but I guess people just didn't like it, and I just don't know why people didn't like it. Like, even now, people still talk trash about it. Like, they'll say Andrew Garfield wasn't a good Spider-Man or a good Peter Parker. I'm like, get out of here. What are you talking about? And let's be clear, Chris Zilka, I don't know how to say that man's last name. That one white boy. He played a wonderful Flash Thompson, better than Sam Raimi's and better than Marvel's Flash Thompsons. He was awesome. Like, I don't know. I just don't know why people don't like that one. I'm a defend it though. I like all three types of the Spider-Man movies, especially the Amazing Spider-Man. If you're like me and you just really have a thing for underrated movies that lots of people just don't like, then you'll probably like Andrew Garfield and the Amazing Spider-Man. Now, on to Tom Holland. Lots of people that say Andrew Garfield, whoa. Lots of people that say the Tom Holland Spider-Man is the best one. I completely understand. When he was first cast in like 2017 and he popped up in Civil War, I was like, whoa, who is this kid? Because it was like, I saw when he got casted for Spider-Man, and I was like, do we really need another Spider-Man? Like, it's been like 2014 is when the Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. So I'm like, it's only been like, what, 3-ish years since the last iteration of Spider-Man? Y'all really want to do this? But then I'm like, Sony had him for so long, and now we're finally about to see a Spider-Man inside of like the Marvel characters, not just standalone type films. He had his own standalone type films, but it always tied back to other like different Marvel characters. It's probably like a lot of younger Gen Z type people like me. I think Tom Holland is terrific as Spider-Man. He looks 16, 17. He's matured since 2017, but you know, he still has that very youthful look. He's an fantastic Peter Parker because he seems like an actual teenager, and the way that he plays it, where it's just like, yes, I'm Spider-Man, and yes, I did save the universe. I did all of that, and I continue to save the world like all the time. But it's like, dude, I am a teenage boy in high school. Like, I just want to be with my girl, and I just want to live my life. And I love that, because in Sam Raimi's, it was kind of like, he was in high school for what, like a year? And then he was working at the paper, the Daily Bugle, and then all of a sudden he proposing to MJ, and it's like, whoa, aren't you supposed to be 16? And then in The Amazing Spider-Man, you could tell Andrew Garfield was not 16, even though I don't know, no, you just could tell they weren't really young. So yeah, I would say Tom Holland is terrific Peter Parker, and he's also a terrific Spider-Man. He brings something really, really new, a very youthful naivete and innocence, and yeah, I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I think it was one of the best casting decisions that Marvel could have made. But let me tell you why I don't think that you can rank them. These are all very different periods of time in this world, and it's just different types of films. For the Sam Raimi ones, it's like, this is Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man on his own, doing his own thing. And it's like, you can't really stack that up to like Spider-Man and Marvel Tom Holland, where he's done a lot more than Sam Raimi Spider-Man. and the Amazing Spider-Man. This man fought against Thanos. Like, adding Spider-Man, Tom Holland, to the Infinity Saga, I feel like was just a really, really good piece of storytelling. Or at least, like, just the way they set it up. I just like that he was included in everything. Because for a really, really long time, you know, Sam Raimi films and then the Andrew Garfield films, it was just Spider-Man by himself and his villains or whatever. And it didn't really give us, it gave us villains and love interest. And it was like, okay, well, I would love to see Spider-Man team up with all the other people. I didn't really, like, I've never been a comic book fan. I got into Marvel and the whole superhero universe probably, like, seriously, I got into it when the first Avengers movie came out. I went to go see it in theaters, and it changed my life. Mostly because of Captain America, I'm not gonna lie. But I loved it. And from that point on, I've loved, like, all superhero movies. Even DC movies. I think some of them are pretty good, but whatever. I can't rank the movies because they were at different times in my life. And they were just in different times in general, and all the movies were going for different things. But I will say, for the people that saying that Tom Holland Spider-Man is, like, what they say, they call him, like, mid and stuff. Yeah, absolutely not. No, you can't even say that about him. Tom Holland brings his absolute all to this role. Every single movie that he's in. I will say, though, Homecoming wasn't my favorite. I liked him in Civil War. It was a really good introduction to him. Homecoming just, I don't know, maybe because I saw Zendaya and, like, Tom Holland wasn't, like, he wasn't going for her, so I was kind of like, I don't know, I think I need you guys to get together. But again, that was more of like a type origin thing. I really like that they didn't do the whole Uncle Ben thing, because they did that in both of the other Spider-Mans. So I think Tom Holland's is very refreshing in the whole Marvel universe. That's where he fits in, and I like that. I don't really see why you would want to rank the Spider-Mans, because it's just Spider-Man. It is what it is. And I feel like if you're like me and you're somebody who doesn't read comic books and you simply just appreciate the superhero movies as they are supposed to, just superhero movies, man. Like, no one cares about well, some people do. Some people, like, really do. And I don't want people like that to get, like, mad at me. But for me, it's nothing too complicated for me. I do not expect for this to be, like, a masterpiece. This is about regular people who have powers, who save people from bad things. Why does it need to be any more complicated than that? I don't understand the arguments about who's the best and who portrayed them the best, because it shouldn't matter. Appreciate the movies. Appreciate Tobey Maguire for being the first guy to be Spider-Man, yes. But don't hate on Tom Holland for being the newest one. And it happens a lot because you see these things and you expect these things. Like, for a lot of people, if someone were to replace, like, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, they'd be like, no, absolutely not. There's nobody that could portray Iron Man as effortlessly as Tony Stark, which I do agree with. But we've seen a ton of iterations of Superman. Personally, I know a lot of people like Christopher Reeves as Superman. I've never seen those movies. The Superman movies I've seen is with Henry Cavill, and I'm gonna ride by his side till the day I die. I love Henry Cavill. And a lot of people, like, it was mostly racist people though, were just not happy about Chris Evans no longer having the title of Captain America, but instead having it go to Anthony Mackie. It took me a minute to get used to it, but it's kind of just like, a lot of times these superheroes in the comic books, it's more of like an alias, like 007. It's more of like an alias rather than a person itself. Some superheroes are they just go by, like, some people just go by different superhero names. So there's different iterations of superheroes. Like, Robin, there's a new Robin. I didn't even know that. But I didn't know there was two Robins either. There's Jason Todd and then Dick Grayson, who becomes Nightwing. So it's kind of like, and I love the way Titans did that too. If you haven't seen Titans, go watch it. Oh my god, it's so good. And there's been different Batmans. There's been Christian Bale. I've never seen the Batman films. Don't come at me. And then there was Ben Affleck. There's been other Batmans. I cannot believe I cannot remember it. There's been other Batmans, but there's been a ton of iterations of Batmans. And it's like, most people say that Christian Bale is the best version. There's about to be Robert Pattinson as a new version of Batman. So I feel like it happens. These are superheroes. People love superheroes. People don't get tired of seeing superhero stories. So why does it matter who's portraying them? As long as they're good, it really shouldn't matter. And personally, I think that Tobey Maguire did Spider-Man not perfectly, wonderfully. I think that Andrew Garfield did Spider-Man wonderfully. I think that Tom Holland and his run of Spider-Man, wonderful. So I'm tired of seeing the arguments. Just appreciate it for what it is, a Spider-Man movie. And this is epic because we've never seen this happen before. But with the multiverse happening, we get to see 3 Spider-Mans that we love. And I feel like people should just not care about who's the best Spider-Man, but just be glad that we're getting all of them at once. Hopefully. That's kind of my rant. As you can see, I'm a big fan of Spider-Man. He's been one of my favorite superheroes for a long time. It's always been him. Even when I was looking at other men, when I was looking at America's, when I was looking at Captain America, and when I was looking at Superman, I was being thirsty, but I cannot deny how much I love the idea of Spider-Man's boyish charm and his wholeheartedness. It's always been him. It's always been him. That's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I am going to try to upload a video of me, I can react to trailers and everything, but it's going to take a minute for me to react to movies. I haven't got everything figured out. I tried. I recorded a video. I tried editing it, and then I realized that I needed to have the movie playing on the screen so that I can make it work perfectly, and I couldn't get the video to go to the part where I was editing. This would be a lot easier if I just had more equipment. But anyways, yes, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you're a fan of movies, not just superheroes, but just movies and film in general. And follow my social media accounts below. It'll be in the description box. It's kind of just everywhere for you if you haven't seen it yet. And go follow me on them. And make sure you turn on my post notifications so that you can see when I post. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the video. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Also, I just want to say, because I feel like this is something that does need to be addressed. There is a lot going on in the world right now. There's a lot of really bad things going on in the world right now. And I need to sit here and acknowledge the fact that I'm very privileged that I could just be sitting here in a chair in a house, just being able to talk about superheroes and not really worrying about anything else. And I feel like that'd be very disrespectful and irresponsible of me to not talk about what else is happening in the world right now. I do not have all the information on it. It's a lot going on. But in terms of Afghanistan and the U.S. troops and everything pulling out, I don't have all the information on it. I don't exactly know what's going on, but what I do know is that there are a lot of civilians there that are in danger, and I feel like I need to talk about the fact that I am blessed to be sitting here discussing superheroes and YouTube videos while there are literally people in Afghanistan that fear for their lives. There are women in Afghanistan that fear for their lives, fear that for their jobs, and fear for just their autonomy. So I feel like I need to acknowledge that, and also just use my platform, I guess, to say that you get involved. There's not much I can do. There's not much that regular people could just do, but once you come together and you start bringing awareness to topics, you start pressing officials and everything, things start happening, a change starts happening. You need to stay informed of what's happening in this world. Get involved as much as you can. There's a lot of really good Instagram pages. Angelina Jolie, she's doing some really great humanitarian work right now. She's helping out, well, helping as much as she can, I guess. She made an Instagram. She has a lot of links and places where you can figure out more information. So just start discussing, start becoming aware of what's going on in the world, and stop being, so self-involved because to be here in a house talking about whatever, posting it on social medias is not it's a privilege. It's not something that everybody has. So I think that's really important to just identify and become aware of. So yeah, other than that, now I'm done. Yeah.